In 1725, in a village called Kisilova in Serbia, a man named Petar Blagojević died. 10 weeks later, 9 other villagers were dead. All of them said the same thing before they went. Petar had come to them at night. The villagers dug him up. An Austrian official named Frombald was there and wrote it down because Serbia was under Habsburg control and the empire wanted a report. What Frombald described is the reason we have vampires. The body hadn't rotted. The skin had come away and fresh skin had grown underneath. The nails had come off and new ones were growing. The hair looked longer, and there was blood at the mouth. The villagers drove a stake through the chest. Frombald wrote that blood came out of the ears and mouth. Then they burned him. 7 years later, a few villages over, it happened again. A man named Arnold Paolo. This time, the Austrians sent an actual military surgeon named Johann Flückinger, who dug up 13 bodies and filed a formal report in January 1732. He used a word that had barely existed in German before, Vampir. That report got printed and reprinted across Europe. It reached London, it reached Paris. Voltaire complained about how much everyone was talking about it. And that's the moment. Not a legend, not a novel, a government document. So what did they actually see? Every single detail in Frombald's report is normal decomposition, and nobody in 1725 knew that. Skin doesn't grow. It slips. The outer layer peels away after death, and the layer underneath looks pink and new. Nails don't grow either. The skin around them retracts, so more of the nail shows. Same with hair. Same with gums, which is where the fangs come from. Receding gums make teeth look longer. The bloating comes from gases in the gut, and those gases push fluid up the throat. When a stake goes into a bloated chest cavity, the gas is released fast and forces that fluid out. There are also accounts of bodies making a groaning sound when staked. That's air being forced past the vocal cords. A body in a cold Serbian grave in winter decomposes slowly and unevenly. Dig it up at the wrong time and you get exactly the description Frombald wrote. But here's the part that makes this a belief and not just a mistake. 9 people died after Peter. That's real. Villages in that period were hit by outbreaks that moved through households. One person, then their family, then the neighbors, typhus, tuberculosis. Nobody had germ theory. What you could observe was that death moved from person to person, and the first one to die seemed to be pulling the rest with him. You would reach the same conclusion. The dead man is taking them, and this wasn't only Europe. In Rhode Island in the 1890s, with electric light in cities, families were exhuming relatives who died of consumption and burning the hearts. A girl named Mercy Brown was dug up in 1892 after her brother fell ill. Her body was in an above-ground crypt in a New England January. It hadn't decomposed much. There was liquid blood in the heart. They burned it, mixed the ashes with water, and gave it to her brother. He died anyway. It was tuberculosis, and it had been tuberculosis the whole time. That's 5 years before Dracula was published, which is the thing worth noticing. Bram Stoker didn't invent this. He inherited it from a Serbian panic, an Austrian surgeon's paperwork, and a couple of centuries of people looking into a grave with no idea what a body does down there. We didn't imagine vampires. We found something we couldn't explain and gave it a name.